And we're live. We're live. We're live. We're live. Thank you guys for tuning in. Manchester United versus Tottenham preview. I don't really know what to make of this game. So obviously, I brought with me a lot of special friends, special guests. We'll start with the Man United panel. We've got Mr. Flawless, Mr. Sarcasm City himself. What are you saying, bro?
Out here, man. I like that intro still. You hear me? That intro's on point, man. Proper introduction and that. I like that. You get what I'm saying? Man set off the show right with that tone.
Man. Everyone's got introduction.
I like that.
Obviously,
my G.
Right, on his left, you got Kojo, Michael, I don't know what you want to call him, a free in midfield podcast.
Yo, instead of Kojo, Michael, I don't know what you want to call him. What about Kojo for the free midfield podcast? So Flawless gets the nice one. I get the whatever you want to call him still.
No, you're a special guy still. You're a special guy.
No, I'm joking. No good, my bro. What are you saying?
I'm good, man. Obviously, we got a man like Mr. Ben Davies, Mr. Harry Wicks himself.
Stop that.
You got Jack. What are you saying, bro? Jack's a Tottenham fan as well, so I'm sure.
Hey, what's good, man? Good to be on. Looking forward to the chat and the game for once.
All right, so obviously, smash the like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. But this is the first time. Like, this is a very weird game for me. Because for the first time, I do not know what's going to happen. I'm not confident. I'm actually pessimistic about this game. But we'll come to you first, Jack. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the game?
Sorry, lads.
Bro, what are you thinking?
Mate.
It's all right.
Yeah, I mean, these kinds of games I don't normally look forward to. We normally sort of. Historically, we haven't really done well at Old Trafford. It's only in the past 5-7 years that we've actually started winning there. But for once, I'm actually quite looking forward to this game. You know, I think we've made the signings that we've needed. I think for the past 3 games we played consecutively, we've actually played really well. And that's the first time that's happened for a good few years now. Last time that happened was under Pochum and a couple of years back. And it's just good to see. It's refreshing to actually consistently play well, play attacking football. Not that that's going to happen tomorrow, but we might have a system in place. And I think Jose's got a lot to prove at Old Trafford as well. I think this guy has done his research. He's ready. Trust me, this guy has spent months waiting for this fixture. He wants this bad. He wants this badly, and I think with the players we finally got, I think we're capable of doing that. It's just a matter of whether that implements in tomorrow's game.
All right, cool. And obviously we've got Tottenham Toes, one of the biggest Tottenham guys on the YouTube at the moment. So Toby, I just want to ask you, what are your thoughts on the game tomorrow? How are you feeling? Are you confident? Are you nervous? Like, how are you feeling about the game?
I'm not nervous, but I'm not actually nervous about the matchup itself, because long gone are the days where I actually fear the Man United team as a whole. It's not a thing anymore. Like nowadays, even though we don't have a great record there, nowadays, whenever we go to Old Trafford, I always feel like we have some opportunity to take some points from Man United. But
yeah,
the one thing that really concerns me about Spurs is that whenever we go to Old Trafford, I don't know what it is. Normally it's an atmosphere thing, but I don't know what it is. We just lose ourselves completely. It's like some players forget how to play football. Some players forget how to defend. Some players forget how to attack. Like, it's ridiculous. And I'm really hoping that we just be calm and play our normal game, because I think if we can play our normal game on Sunday, irrespective of my views on Mourinho and his tactics, I think we can get a result there 100%. Because this Man United team is not a team that we should be scared of. We're seeing teams come to Old Trafford, attack this United team. We're seeing defensive lapses. We're seeing their midfield, dysfunctional midfield, losing the ball, not tracking back. So I really think that as far as winning at Old Trafford is concerned, we have a good chance of doing it tomorrow. But again, it's just that Old Trafford factor. That's the only thing that's concerning me now. Whenever we go to that stadium, just something goes wrong.
Yeah. Fair enough. Obviously, I'm going to come to you for what are your thoughts? Obviously, back in the days, like when I was growing up, like we used to be in Tottenham home and away. It didn't matter where we were playing them. And now, obviously, ever since that Gareth Bale, that time when he retired Rio Ferdinand, like Tottenham have been coming and giving us a smoke at Old Trafford. So what are your thoughts on the game tomorrow? Are you confident? Are you nervous? Like, how are you feeling?
You know what? Being a United fan, like being a United fan, our bad moments, I always tend to forget. So I can't even remember that Gareth Bale retiring Rio Ferdinand. You know, like in Men in Black, when they put up the memory eraser thing and that. So man forgets about all the type of things there, innit? Like, yeah, that's it. The neuralizer, like Champions League finals and other finals United have lost, I forget about. So I don't even remember that. On the game, I think this is Spurs. The Spurs fans will be able to tell me. I think this is their like third game in 5 days or something crazy like that. I know they played a lot of games in a short space of time. So I think that 1000% plays a factor. Also, United players are slowly getting up to speed now because we've seen how sloppy on the ball our better players were. Everyone played bad against Crystal Palace. Everybody was bad. 1-11, everybody was bad. Against Brighton, even though we won the game, Pogba, Bruno, all guilty of giving away the ball with simple passes. You're talking like 5-10 yard passes, easy.
Yeah.
So hopefully the players are now up to speed because they played a few games. Obviously, we played the Luton game. We played Brighton again in the League Cup. So I'm hoping that the players are up to speed and on the game. I'm looking at it like, I believe that, how do I put this now? I'm trying to word this correctly. I always say it all the time. With our front five, we can always win matches. With Pogba, Bruno, Martial, Rashford, Greenwood, even though I don't believe the manager's good enough and he has his deficiencies and things like that, we can still win football matches. That's the only reason we beat Brighton in the Premier League was individual brilliance or two or more of those 5 players combining. So yeah, that's why I'm not concerned about the game because I believe we have the quality to hurt any team and we have the quality to hurt Spurs. Yes, they did well against Southampton, but the first game of the season, Mourinho was throwing their players under the bus. Son's out, if I'm correct as well, isn't he? Son's not playing.
Nah, he can play. He can play. Apparently,
he might play.
He's going to start.
He's going to start. Okay, that could change it as well. Because if Son's missing, that's a big hit for them because I think Son's quality, like top quality. But yeah, on the game, I'm expecting United to win. I believe we have a better 11, so I'm expecting United to win.
All right, cool. What about you, Kojo? Obviously, Kojo's boys there as well. What are you guys thinking about the game? Obviously, Flawless has said that he's confident. Toby's confident as well. Jak,
no, I'm not confident. Don't say I'm going for a draw. I'm not confident.
A draw? Okay, no problem.
I said nah.
I'm not
confident. Nah. He's like, we've come there and done a madness. All right, cool. Kojo, what about you? How are you feeling?
Firstly, I'll introduce my boy. This is also Toby, so I want to call him Man United Tobes. Yeah.
Tobes.
Yeah.
What's good, man? You right?
But yeah, how am I feeling? I'm not feeling ultra confident because Spurs have hit a decent good run of form at the right time. Yeah. I think the way they've added players to the squad means they can now rotate much better, especially now they've got a striker, so it means Harry Kane will get a lot more rest. But in terms of this game, it's a game that if we're going to win, we're going to sneak it. Against the teams that are the better sides in the Premier League, we somehow managed to pull results off unless they call Liverpool. So possibly for me, we could still a 2-1. But that's not being confident that it's definitely going to be a W. That's me saying I pray to God that we get some individual brilliance off the pitch. If not, can't lie to you, there is every chance that Tottenham could give us a hiding. And that's how I think it's going to be. Either United steal it or Spurs spank them.
I think with one of those ones, it's either one or the other. Sorry, I really want to say I'm confident about it, but it's like one of the. I think it's how we approach the game is what Man United shows up, because like we seen last season with the big games, right? Ollie somehow pulls it out the bag. Like you see, he's just technically inept, but when it comes to the Chelseas, the Man Cities, he suddenly turns into like a top 5 manager. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what frustrates me as a Man United fan, the inconsistency. I can see Solskjaer going defensive, even though at Old Trafford. I think it depends on who starts at the back, because that's what I'm seeing like all the trouble really. Just like I saw Lindelof and I saw Maguire, and it's just a stuff of nightmares. I thought Phil Jones and Smalling were bad. And it's not. And actually, that's me being unfair. They're not bad defenders. It's just
you're right, man.
So
not against
I'm gonna overall say as an overall score, we're gonna sneak a 1-0.
Okay.
We'll sneak a 1-0.
So I just wanted to interject there. You're not keeping a clean sheet tomorrow.
Damn.
Impossible.
Hey, damn.
Win, lose or draw, you are not keeping a clean sheet tomorrow. If there's one thing I'm certain on, it's that there's no way on earth that game is going to end at 90-something minutes and Man United are going to have a clean sheet to their name. Not with the way you're defending this season, not with the lack of protection you're giving your midfielders. And one thing you mentioned about the game as well, I am actually worried about United's threat in transition. I don't think we're going to play a high line, but the last time we went to Old Trafford, Marcus Rashford tore us to shreds. I think last time we came to Old Trafford, Martial wasn't fit as well. So I think if Martial's fit, he's going to give our centre-backs some trouble. But the one thing that you lot are failing to forget about all these fixtures is we have the upper edge in terms of fitness. We've been playing ever since that Everton match. We've had the Europa League, we've had this, we've had that. Most of our players are now up to speed in terms of where they need to be for the season. Harry Kane looks sharper, Reguilon getting back to fitness, Doherty back to fitness, Højbjerg playing better, etc., etc. All our big players, with the exception of Sonny, if he starts tomorrow, are actually close to peak level, close to good fitness conditions. And Ndombele is playing well as well now as well. So I just think now when you play us, you're going to have a lot to deal with. You're going to have fullbacks who can actually attack the ball. You're going to have midfielders who can pass between the lines as well. And in addition to Harry Kane as well. I just think you're going to have a lot to worry about this time when you're playing us compared to how you did back in May, I think. May or last year. There's just quite a lot more to think about now, whereas that wasn't the case before. So I just think you need to bear that in mind.
And also, Ndombele didn't start on Thursday, so there's a chance that he could tomorrow. So
he has to
and
start.
We look good with him. We look good with him. So,
do you reckon Mourinho's going to start in the belly in a game like this?
I think so.
100%.
100%.
I say yeah.
100%. If he wasn't going to start, he wouldn't have. If he wasn't going to start him, he would have brought him on as a substitute against Maccabi Haifa. The fact that he didn't play a single minute that game just tells us that he's definitely going to start from the jump at Old Trafford, 100%.
So I want to obviously we're talking about obviously the midfield and stuff. I want to talk about the midfield. Obviously, Manchester United's got Pogba. Obviously, most likely Pogba, Bruno, and Matic that will start on the weekend. Who from Tottenham do you reckon will start in the midfield, and what do you feel like you guys can dominate the midfield battle, or what do you think is going to happen in that midfield battle? I'll start off with you, Jack. Well, what's your thoughts on the midfield for both teams?
I want to see Højbjerg not Winks. Sorry. Højbjerg, Lo Celso, and Ndombele. But I think maybe Højbjerg, Sissoko, and Ndombele. I think it's Sissoko that will definitely be covering on that right hand side. I think Doherty's going to probably need that level of protection. But you guys are clearly going to win that midfield battle. You're gonna have more of the ball. Whether you play defensively or not, we're going to play more defensively, and I think we're going to sit deeper and allow you guys to have the ball because we know what your front three can do. We saw what Rashford did last season. I think we're going to try and sort of rectify that. But otherwise, I think Højbjerg, Sissoko, and Ndombele is probably the midfield that's going to start tomorrow, I reckon.
I don't see Sissoko starting, I'm not going to lie. I think Højbjerg will play. Did Harry Winks play the full 90 against Maccabi Haifa? I think he might have played, I don't think enough now. I know Sissoko came on. I think the only midfielders who I'm sure are starting tomorrow are Højbjerg and Ndombele. I just don't know whether he'll go with Lo Celso because I heard that Lo Celso might have a knock. I don't know if Lo Celso will start or whether it will be Sissoko or Harry Winks, but for sure, Højbjerg and Ndombele will start tomorrow. And I think tomorrow will be a good test, a good judge of character for Ndombele as well, because by all accounts he has looked good when he's played. But this will be the toughest. This will be the toughest match he's played for us in a long time. So we'll see what whether it's actually real progress or whether it's just pretend progress.
Fair enough. Flawless, will come to you. What are your thoughts on the midfield? Obviously, I know you're a big fan of the Pogba and Bruno. Do you feel like we'll have too much of them in there, or do you feel like Tottenham can get the upper hand? Because for me personally, I think if they start Sissoko, as much as it sounds silly, I feel like Sissoko probably the best player to start in midfield for them, because I feel like he is the one of the few people that actually, I don't know what I've seen, he does run in behind the midfield a little bit. And I feel like if Matic gets the runners around him, he's going to struggle quite a bit. If not him, it has to be Lo Celso. But what are your thoughts on that, Flawless?
It depends on how Mourinho wants to settle. Is he going to come and try and attack? Or is he going to come and try and defend, sit deep, and catch United on the break? I think that will influence whether United will dominate the midfield or not. Because if they give us all of the ball, we'll pretty much dominate the ball and have them and dominate the midfield. Whereas if Spurs try and come and play, that then makes it more of a tougher task for United to dominate the midfield. But yeah, like you stated, I'm a big fan of Pogba and Bruno. And if they play up to their levels, we'll dominate the midfield regardless. Like if they play up to their levels, no matter who the third is, whether it's Fred, whether it's Matic, whether it's McTominay, whoever, if Bruno and Pogba are on song, which I'm hoping they are, like, because they got to play their way into some type of form, we'll be fine. This is why I'm confident going into the game. Like I said, with the attacking quality we have, if they play up to anywhere near the standard we know they can, we will win this match. And I believe we'll have too much for Spurs.
What about you, Coach? And obviously, Man United, Toby. What are your thoughts on the midfield tomorrow? Because I think it's going to be a very crucial battle. And we'll move on to the managers next. We'll see what the manager's saying.
I think he goes either one of two ways. He finally plays Pogba, Van de Beek, and Bruno together, or he is going to start Matic. The thing is, I know he really wants to play those three in the middle together, but
how does it
I'm
work?
not sure.
How does it work with playing those?
That's what I'm saying. That's the thing. I don't think he's found a system, whether he's going to change from a 4-3-3 to maybe a diamond, and maybe have someone else in there, or if he wants to just try the three of them in midfield and just go gung ho. I don't know if he's got a plan to it. To be honest, I criticize his tactics because I don't feel like he has plans most of the time. But if he does start Matic, then yeah, it's going to be Matic and Pogba obviously deep, and then Bruno up top. So he's going to need Matic and Pogba to be on job, because the way Ndombele is playing right now, the way he retains the ball, the way he dribbles past players, he's very, very difficult to deal with when he's on song. So
yeah,
he's going to need them to be on their game. Me personally, I don't know if I would start Matic, but then the other two options are McTominay and Fred. And let's be honest,
well, I'm not confident with either of them.
there you go. So yeah.
Coming back to the Pogba point, I was watching the previous two matches with Palace and Brighton. Okay, we were all over the place for both of those games. But you could say, like, people were saying, like, Pogba played a big part in it. So I'm just thinking now, if Pogba is going to play tomorrow, he has to show up. He has no choice. I was thinking he might go for another approach, play Van der Beek in that holding role. I don't know, some people may not agree. But then again, in the matches I've seen, he does show consistency. Like, you do know what you're going to get from him. I still think Pogba will be better playing in like an attacking midfield role at number 10. But then again, that leaves Bruno like
definitely.
Yeah. What do we do?
Sorry to cut you off, Manchester. Definitely, Pogba he's still good from deep. So sorry to cut you off. You still get a good Pogba when he's playing deep, but play him higher up the pitch. We've seen it against Brighton for a 10-minute spell when he came on. Obviously, it's only Brighton. How he can just impact the game, and he just looks brighter. Like, I don't want Pogba defending. Obviously, I'm saying all players work hard, but I want two players behind him, and it's like, all right, you just go on attack.
He can do it. He can do it. But that being said, just like, even with last season, just you feel like with him, there's always something missing, and that's where he gets criticised a lot, and that's where he gets the unfair criticism, because look at where you play. Like, you're not going to get much out of it. And I think Man United does have a culture of playing players out of position, just like what's the phrase again? Just like
square pegs round holes.
That's the one. Yeah.
Can I just interject on that Paul Pogba point? I do agree that he needs to be playing further forward. The best Paul Pogba is a Paul Pogba who's a goal threat and literally feeding the attackers as well. I don't think he can do that to the best effect when he's playing in a deep position. I agree with that, but I at the same sort of view, I disagree with that being the only thing that's hampering Paul Pogba from playing well. Paul Pogba has not played well.
Absolutely not.
Paul Pogba.
Yeah, you're spot on.
Paul Pogba has not played well some of these games because that is Paul Pogba. Fundamentally, that is him as a football player now. Quality player with world-class ability, but he's shown us in the last 5 years that he can go missing in these games. He played, we've seen, I think, wasn't it last year you lot played Brighton right at the start of the season? Was it? Yeah, right at the start of the season. No,
we lost that one as
season
well.
before, the season of the 18-19 season, you lot lost 2-1. I remember Lindelof and Bailly had horrendous games. Yeah, Paul Pogba. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Jose Mourinho play him in a sort of number 8 position in that game? I'm sure he did. I think he did, and he was terrible. He was absolutely terrible that game. I remember that match vividly. He was awful. So when we talk about Paul Pogba, I get it. The deep position is holding him back, but I feel like now people are using it as an excuse to get him off the hook for some of these poor performances. You can't tell me him playing number 6 means that he can't string 2 passes together, or he can't keep the ball, or he can't track runners like that. That's nothing to do with the position he's playing. That's just
for me. I think the reason why he's playing that deeper role is because obviously, clearly, he's the best passer in the team. Comfortably. So his range of passing is clear of Bruno, is clear of Matic, everybody else in that midfield. So him playing there doesn't even cause me a problem. The fact is also Matic is the defensive midfielder, so you don't really have as much defensive responsibility as the other guy. You have more license really to do more on the pitch anyway. In relation to the excuses that have been made for him, obviously at first it's more to do with the players around him, the type of quality that around him, all that kind of stuff. If someone doesn't do their job, obviously no sort of help. There's a lack of balance in the team. All these, they are truths to them, but also as Toby said, sometimes he's been absolutely atrocious. And I'm sorry to bring this up, but Toby's made a point, and he came on Twitter, and some guy tried to clown him with one game. I was like, that's one game out of how many? He hasn't played one game in his whole United career. You can't use that as a platform to say, oh, look at you talking about Pogba. As much as I love the guy, there's also a lot to criticize about him, and Toby's spot on about it. So if this is a game where Toby also has said he needs to step up, and it's absolute fact. It has to step up. This is a big game. Because United and Tottenham, the gap is not like this when Tottenham had, I don't know, post Altieri and them, man. No.
Post Altieri, man. That win against
Tottenham have a very, very good squad now, and the midfield can now compete with your midfield. So what are you going to do to show that you are levels, that you are the guy in the team to make things happen? He has to show up. Either show up or get substituted again. Simple as that.
I'm just Sky Sports was on in the background. I just saw the table. United are 13th.
Let's not talk about that, please.
If that doesn't scale,
wait,
someone said,
that's what I was thinking.
Pogba needs unlocking so much that he's a Mortal Kombat character.
He's a quality. The thing is, when it's like it's illegal to speak impartially about Paul Pogba now, because you're called a hater, you're called this, that, and the other. Like I like Paul Pogba. I was so jealous when Man United signed him, like a couple years ago. I think he's one of my favorite players in world football. But the problem is, people put him on a pedestal that I don't think is warranted nowadays. In my opinion, I don't think he's a world-class player because he doesn't show world-class consistency. I think he's a quality player. That's about it. That's all I say about it. He doesn't show the consistency to be a world-class player. But I'm attacked for saying that.
That's the problem.
I think the issue with the issue with Pogba is like you said there. You mentioned that people are unbiased with him. So you have people who are like, Pogba can do no wrong, and when he plays badly, it's everyone else's fault, bar his. But then you have the people like when he plays well who don't want to praise him, because we live in the social media era where people are more interested in being right than their team doing well. So if you got United fans who don't like Pogba whatsoever, you get me. And even say, for instance, take the Manchester City game where he scored 2. I've had United fans I've seen on social media tell me he wasn't influential in that game. You get what I'm saying? Whereas you get other people who are, when he's, like I said, when he is playing bad, don't want to criticize him at all. It's a mixture of both. Has he been helped? Has he been helped fully to be the best Paul Pogba you can be? No. Absolutely not. Not with the players around him, not with the players' position, with the players where he's being played in position. That being said, making a 5-yard pass is nothing to do with where you're playing. So he's had terrible games. But he's had good games too. The problem is inconsistency. But the issue with the inconsistency is he's playing in an inconsistent team. No one's been consistent. Very few players have been consistent. Like we even made De Gea dip.
I agree, but you know what the thing is. You know what the thing is. He is the best player on the team. He's the best player on the team. So players of his quality, you don't stoop to the surrounding crowd. You don't. Players, the cream of the crop will always stand out, no matter whether the team's winning or losing. If your levels, and you always stand out. And we've seen it in games where Man United are playing poorly, and he's the best player on the pitch. We've actually seen it. There are games where you're losing, and he's the best player on the pitch. I remember Watford, you lost 2-1 last year. He came on the pitch for like 10, 15 minutes, and he was the best player on the pitch. The best player on the pitch. And you didn't win that game. So what we're asking from Paul Pogba is not like, I don't think it's anything mad. Like, I get it. You're being played out of position. You're not being coached by a manager who can get the best out of you. But ultimately, you had your best season as a Man United player under this manager. You are the best player in this team. Show it. That's all.
I'm going to come in there. I'm going to interject.
You're very sorry to cut you off. You're very unbiased, though. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know you, but even hearing you talk, and most people ain't like that. Like, you're very unbiased with your thoughts on it. Like, people don't see, like, a lot of people don't see it like that. They're either Pogba's great or Pogba's terrible. Like, there's no in between.
But that's what I'm saying. I'll be called a hater for what I just said. I'll be called a hater.
I wouldn't call you that. I'm a Pogba fan.
Man United to say something.
Yeah, I remember, like, it was that Man City game where we're 2-0 down, and Pogba just won the game just by himself. I still have memories of that game. I think when it comes to like hate or whatever, I think people really like him. It's just that he's not fulfilling like what he should be. It's not what we signed. We're not getting the youth Pogba, if that's what you mean. And part of it, that's not really his fault. But then again, just you have to think, right? He said he's not being managed properly. Like Oli was I think in the academy was his first manager, so he does have that relationship. Like we do see him, like he's been in with him for a long time. So it's just like one of those. He's a conundrum, isn't he?
Yeah.
So,
but I think we'll move into the next segment, obviously, which is very important. It's about the managers now. Looking at my screen, funny enough, no one is happy with their manager on this screen, so it should be a very interesting debate. So, Man United fans, what are your thoughts on obviously Jose and his time at Spurs? And obviously, I'll start with the Tottenham fans about your thoughts on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United. So, Jack, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on Ole? And obviously, a little bit about Mourinho ahead of tomorrow's game.
Carried. That's what Oli is. He's getting carried by your front line. Honestly, I think he's a good man manager. He will put his arm around the shoulder. He will get the best out. He will get the confidence. He will instill the confidence within the players. And we've seen how tactically inept he is. We know that he's just relying on playing against a team in a system where he's allowed to break, he's allowed to counter, he's allowed to utilize those players to get in behind. That's it, really. There's not much to say about him. Other than that, I'm looking at his experience at Mold, at Cardiff, and people are saying, I've heard that mentions of his experience of winning things at Mold, or what helped him get this job and whatnot. But haven't they just got this? Haven't Mold got access to didn't Mold get into the furthest stage of the Champions League they've ever been to before?
Europa League.
Sorry, yeah, that's it.
Quite far, yeah.
Without him, so it goes to show whether he was a big factor in that or not. I don't watch Norwegian football, I can't say, but that doesn't look good.
No one does, mate.
Apart from people in Norway.
So I don't think people in Norway think.
I see. Obviously, you're all over Twitter every time you lot lose. Mourinho this, Mourinho that. So, what are your thoughts on Mourinho in terms of tomorrow's game? How do you think he'll set up? Do you think he'll be defensive as usual, or do you feel like he'll be a bit different?
Yeah, he'll be defensive. He'll sit back. He'll let you guys have the ball. I think Sissoko will play. I think he will be there to nullify that your left hand side. and yeah, he's definitely gonna sit back and allow the players to sort of flourish when they get the chance. We've got the pace up front. We've got players in midfield that can carry that ball. So I think that's the system he'll play, and I think he'll be reliant on the Kanes and the Sons. He has been reliant, and it's worked. But yeah, I think that's how he's going to set up tomorrow.
Fair enough. Charles, we'll just come to you. What are your thoughts on obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer from an outside point of view, and what are you happy with your manager at the moment, Jose Mourinho, for tomorrow's game?
On Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I do think he's out of his depth at United now. I do believe that. I don't think as a coach he is the man who can sort of imprint a style that can get a team sort of over the line game by game. He's very much someone who's good for some of the odd sort of like big matches, but for a consistent sort of pattern of play, I don't think he's that guy. But I do also believe that he's not been helped by Ed Woodward. I think that's the real problem at Man United. I've always said it doesn't matter who they bring in. They could go out and get Ancelotti right now. It's just going to be a better version of what they're seeing now. Like, they'll probably get top 4. They'll probably get maybe some better players. But in terms of the pinnacle, which is where Man United are trying to get to, they're never going to get there until they change everything right at the top. So whilst I do think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's out of his depth, I don't think he's been helped by the Man United boardroom. I do actually think that he did well to earn the permanent job in the first place, because he had no credentials getting the temporary job, but he did well. And I felt like at that point, especially after the Champions League win, which was a totally undeserved win, by the way, didn't deserve it, but he got there. I'm like, he's for me, he warranted the job, not just because of that, but because players like Martial, who had been cast away, he's had his best ever season on the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Rashford, best ever season on the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Paul Pogba, best ever season on the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So it's not been all bad with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but I just don't think he has the footballing knowledge to manage a team game to game and get them playing a distinct style of play that isn't just counter-attacking football. So I think he is stifled by his own sort of quality as a manager. So I do think he's out of his depth. On Mourinho now, I don't want him at Spurs. I've never wanted him at Spurs because I don't think I don't think he's the coach for us. But what I'm liking now is that in spite of his managerial sort of deficiencies nowadays, we're making our squad better. Our squad is getting better. We always, at our best, under Mourinho, we rely on individuality. So the best thing for you to do in that situation is make the squad better. Even if the manager is not playing to our liking or getting us to play proper, clear, attacking football, we're making our squad better. So no matter what wrong he tries to do, the squad is actually getting better. We actually have fullbacks who can attack now, better attackers, better midfielders. So my thoughts on Mourinho is that I don't rate him, but I like the influence he's given us in terms of the players we're bringing in. And I'm hoping with the players he has right now, we can definitely challenge for top 4, especially if Skriniar comes in.
Fair enough. What about you, Thoughtless, if you're able to come back, if not Kojo? But what are your thoughts on obviously Mourinho? And obviously your manager, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. What do you think Ole should do?
Yeah, go tomorrow? To Kojo, one sec, yeah?
Kojo, what do you think Ole should do tomorrow to secure the win? And how do you think Mourinho would counteract that?
I do miss Mourinho because he's dropping gems again. But no, I think Mourinho is gonna actually. Let me start Ole first. I think Ole is gonna try and do counter attack as per usual. Which that's what I
wanted to know. How does counter attack versus counter? How does that work?
Well, this is the thing. So I feel like this is why I worry sometimes about him in game, because I feel like when he feels like another team's trying to do counter, he'll try and control the game more. Because obviously he wants Bruno and he wants Pogba to pass the ball around a lot more and take control of the game. But my worry for him is you haven't really won games where the emphasis is on you to control games, in the bigger games anyway. So I do worry, but I feel like he's going to either try and take a counter-attacking role, or he's going to try and control the game. And if he does try and control the game, it'll work for Spurs perfectly. I think what Mourinho's done and people try and in the last couple of games where they've actually played really well, people have tried to clown the fact that when you go to the maybe 15 minutes in, you go to the little pitch on the left side of the corner, you see the players have not been there half yet. Yeah. It's all just a tactic. It's all just getting there, and eventually you start hitting 1, 2, 3. You don't judge a game in the 15 minutes. You judge it through the full 90. So give them time to settle into the game. Once they got United rattled and they find a weakness, they'll identify it. Mourinho's very, very good at identifying weaknesses within the team. And if he has the players and the personnel ready, if Son is ready, I have this horrible feeling in my heart that Gareth Bale can suddenly appear on the bench like a flipping Pokemon. I mean, it's very, 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 very highly unlikely, but I just have that worrying feeling in my heart. I'm just gonna see his face here. I'll see him walking down the tunnel and I'll be like, oh, it's peak. Honestly, that would be my thought process. And quickly, just what I think of yours Mourinho. I think Spurs were kind of smart bringing him in the sense of they've been asking for Levy to spend money. He's someone that will force that out of Levy. Levy needed to sign players because they've been asking for players for a long time. Long time. I keep saying it time and time again. I talk about Spurs. Pochettino said that the rebuild will be tough. It's going to be very, very difficult. So that needed to happen, and they're starting to get a lot more players that I think fit the system to a T. A variety of different options in the squad. So I think he's done well to get that out of the team, and I think they'll be finishing higher than they did last season. And as for Ole, like I said, like you guys have alluded to, man management, brilliant. Getting players that weren't happy here to sign contracts, brilliant. But again, in game sometimes I say 8 times out of 10 he tends to get a bit iffy. Recently, he's been okay with it. That's what my worry is. I feel like if the game is at 0-0 and at the 60th minute, when you need to make a change, are you going to do it? Or are you going to react to something happening before you make that change?
That's a big one.
That's where I'm fearful. Because if he is a lot more proactive, then maybe we can go on to win the game in a better way. So that's where I worry with him. But I'm not completely satisfied with him. I just want him to take a little more emphasis in games and just try and control games. And then see what we can do, and bloody hell, start Van de Beek. I don't care where he starts, just start the guy, man. He's I don't know. I just need him to start. I need to start games ASAP. So yeah, that's me. You was anything? Oh.
Yeah, go on. All right, I'll start with Ollie. It's really sad because I really want him to do well. Like I really want to, just because of sentimental sakes, innit? But the thing is just like he looks. I don't want to use the word tactically inept, but I'm going to go back to Crystal Palace game. Even some games last season, just like the Palace game where we lost 3-1, it gave us that blueprint of how to beat United. Just chances are, like, we're not going to break you down. Just stay tight. Just mark Bruno, double up on the wings, get a counter, you will get a chance, 1-0, and then shut up shop. And it's worked for all them small teams all the time. And that's where it becomes frustrating. With Ollie, just like, do I see it in a long term here? Well, time will tell. And I hope he gets back because then again, if he doesn't do well, then we can say, yes, we backed you and you're still not performing. What are you going to do now? But then again, I want to go back to Fergie. Like, Fergie had a bad time beforehand. I'm not comparing them to the two whatsoever, but I'm just bringing it up there. With Mourinho, it actually scares me because this is basically his time to shine. And when he's actually on his game, it's peak. It's peak. One thing he has brought to Spurs is stability. Like I don't remember last season. I think they were in the bottom half, or even though we brought them to 6, that's still progress at least. I think he has a good chance of winning a cup. This is maybe like a Carling Cup or an FA Cup. I think he has that experience. I think that's it from it. I think he brings stability to the team. Like, he may not be everyone Tottenham's favourite choice, but he does have that experience, which I think players will benefit from.
Fair enough. So what about you, Flula? Do you think Mourinho's going to come and stink it out tomorrow? Or do you feel like he's going to come and do regular and Doherty on the overlap and Ndombele making third man rounds? Or what are you thinking?
if Mourinho does the latter part of what you just said, I would be very, very shocked. I can't remember. Obviously, the Spurs fans will be able to tell me better, will know better than I do. I do not remember the last time Mourinho went into a big away game, even without fans, with overlapping fullbacks and a high line and midfielders making runs beyond the strikers and things of that nature. That is just not Mourinho-esque. So I don't see Mourinho doing it. I think he's legit going to come and try and stink the place out. And if I was a Spurs fan, that's what I would want him to do. I'd be like, all right, we know what this Manchester United team can struggle with, sit in and hit them on the counter, especially if Lindelof plays next to Maguire. And we've seen that Ollie is silly enough to continue with a partnership we know does not work. And sure as well, if you got Son on that side, or it's Bale, or it's Bergwijn, or it's Mora. So it's like Spurs have weaknesses to attack with the players they do. So yeah, if I was him, I would come and try and stink the place out. Definitely.
Okay, fair enough. So we're just gonna come off to obviously the front line. I feel like Man United front line is quite dangerous. Obviously Tottenham would have been dangerous if Gareth Bale was fit. Who do you think has the better front line going into the game tomorrow? And which player from the other team are you most scared of? Jack, we'll start off with you. What player are you most scared of, and who do you think's got a better front line?
I do banter Martial a lot, but I obviously, when this guy picks up the ball in those spaces outside of the D, from wide, he's dangerous. We know how dangerous he is. He's deadly. He's lethal. He's got a great strike of the ball. He can, jink past one or two. And yeah, I think him. I think I know Bruno's been getting a lot of criticism, but when he does, when those sort of final balls do click, it clicks well, and he does have that ability to. He's always going to be involved in the goal, and yeah, I think Bruno and Martial, I'd say probably the biggest threats for me.
Interesting. Flawless, what about you? Who's the biggest threat from the Tottenham side? Obviously Harry Kane, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, Son, no doubt. He's the player. Yeah, I rate Harry Kane, but for me, it's Son. You know what I mean? He has that pace, 2-footed, great movement. It's definitely, like I say, Kane's quality, don't get it mistaken, but Son is the one who I look at. I'm like, if United keep him quiet, increases our chances so much of winning the game.
I hope he doesn't play tomorrow. If he does play, I think we're in for.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Why do you think I opened up and was like, Son's missing? That's why I opened up when I was talking and I was like, I heard Son's missing. Because that makes me happy thinking Son's missing. If Son's not missing, that changes the complexion of the game and how confident I am going into it. Because he is a match winner for them. He's definitely a match winner for them.
So I feel like even their left-hand side, I don't know if it does start like this, regular left back and Son on the left wing.
Regulon, I think he will start.
I don't know what's going to happen
there.
Trust me.
I think he'll start.
I can't sleep on that for that. Thinking about that. So who do you think, Toby? Who do you think is going to be the Man United's main guy tomorrow? And who are you scared of the most on that team?
The obvious, really. For all the talk about Paul Pogba, if he turns up, we're fried. We saw it in May. The cameo he showed at our ground, we couldn't lay a glove on him. And I think I don't think we've seen Paul Pogba and Bruno play well for a long, long time. I think it's been ages since I've seen Bruno Fernandes have like a really, really good game. But I think if they actually play well, I'm worried. So them two and the obvious, I mentioned his name already, but Marcus Rashford. I know he's had a dodgy-ish start to the season, but the way he put the fear of God in Aurier and Davinson Sanchez at Old Trafford, I really think if he gets going, we're gonna struggle on that left-hand side, which is probably why Jack is probably thinking Sissoko should start, and then Martial as well. I think Martial. It depends on who we play in central midfield, but I can see Alderweireld starting because Eric Dyer started on Thursday, and I think Martial v Alderweireld is a complete mismatch right now. So I'm scared. Those are the four players I'll be scared of as well. I think Donny van de Beek is a shout off the bench as well. I think every time I've seen him so far for Man United this season, he's looked sharp. Like he's not looked like he's lacking fitness or whatnot. He looks sharp. He looks ready. So I'll be worried about him off the bench too. So all in all, those five players I'm worried about.
as Florence calls them, the Avengers. What about you? What about you, Kojo and Toby? What are your thoughts? Who do you think is going to be a threat from the Spurs side? Obviously, you got Harry Kane, you got Son, but who do you think is going to be the biggest threat tomorrow to us?
Yeah, Kane is definitely the biggest threat. Ndombele could be a big problem. That could be a big problem. Doherty knows how to ghost into the box so many times. Don't underestimate that.
Doherty against Luke Shaw.
I prefer really not to talk about that right now. I'm in a good mood. And Reguilon also, because the way he burst down the left, like, yes, there are questions about him defensively, as there is for every other fullback in football. But going forward, he's quick, he's decisive with what he wants to do. He's obviously proven as well when Lamela equalized in the game that they played against who was it? He's knocked out with Chelsea. Yeah, in the cup as well. Like he can cross with his right foot as well, so he can do it both. Obviously left foot naturally, but he can do it both. So yeah, those guys, they worry me a lot. They actually do worry me a lot. Obviously, I have to talk about Son too tough. Everyone knows who Son is. Everyone knows who Harry Kane is. So yeah, but then see, that's I just mentioned forward line and midfielder and fullbacks. So that's pretty much the pitch, isn't it? Yeah, they got danger from every side. So we need obviously our front three to be on point. The substitutions will be very key, but the front three needs to be on point. Pogba needs to dictate the tempo. And if it was any time for Bruno to get out of a slump of average, mediocre form, it would be now. It would be now. Don't wait for penalties, bro. Yeah. Do a thing. So yeah, that's what we need. And we need. Well, I hope Wan-Bissaka's been doing forward training because Jesus Christ.
Cool. So just to wrap it up, who do you think's had a better transfer season transfer window so far?
Spurs.
And who's going to finish
higher? It's not even a contest.
We just got combined, you know.
It's not a contest at all.
We still have 48 hours though,
bro. It's us. We have improved. As it stands now, we've improved 4 out of our starting 11 positions. We've improved 4. If we get 3, that's 5. That's almost half our team. Our best side that we've improved.
What's
you have Reguilon, Matt Doherty, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, and Gareth Bale. They're 4.
Do you lot rate Højbjerg highly?
And that Portuguese as well.
He played well.
Vinicius as well. So
but he's not a starter, but he's gonna improve our bench. But I don't rate Højbjerg highly. I liked him at Southampton, and I think he's a decent player. But ask Jack. I remember we spoke about it before he signed. I wouldn't have signed him. I would have gone for a proper number 6 who's got a better passing range. But what Højbjerg is showing us, what he's shown us in the past 2-3 matches is he can actually do stuff with the ball. Like he can actually pass with the ball. And the ball winning was never in doubt. Like we all knew he was a good ball winner, but he's more like a pressing CM. So he's giving me confidence that he can be a better player than I expect him to be. But more importantly, even if he is a decent player, the profile player he is, we needed that in our club. We needed a leader, we needed a ball winner, we needed someone who's aggressive. And 25 years old, he's got massive scope for improvement. So I think tomorrow he'll be a big plus for us, snapping at Pogba's heels, snapping at Bruno's heels as well. I think we needed that type of player in our team, and even though it's not my ideal choice, we've got one now. So as far as the transfer window is concerned, we are easily having a better transfer window than Man United. It's not even a contest.
Interesting. It's just a shame that obviously Sergio Aurier is not starting tomorrow, but we moved. So who do you think is going to start? Who do you think is going to finish higher out of the 2 of us, Manchester United or Tottenham, come is it May or whenever the season ends?
Well, United all day. United, that's easy.
Is it?
United, easy. We'll finish.
Is it easy?
Yes, of course. We'll finish above the.
Well, depends.
Yes,
depends
easy. Yes. You hear me? This is even up top, like even with Oli, everything else. What's changed so much that all of a sudden Spurs are gonna catch us? We finished 4 places above them and had our worst start to the season in like 30 years. So what's changed? Maybe Gareth Bale coming in. That's it.
There's a lot of changes in our first 11.
I just named all the changes.
So you reckon you might are going to finish top 4?
I think. Sorry, I'm not sure if Jack agrees or not, but I think us clinching top 4 is dependent on if we bring in a centre back, because that was one of our weakest areas in our team. If we sign Skriniar, 1000% we're finishing above you, because our attack is already better than yours, and even though your midfield is better, we have players.
It's not cohesive.
Yeah, it's not as cohesive, and two, we have players now that we couldn't rely on last season. We couldn't rely on Ndombele towards the end of last season, and we didn't even have a Højbjerg in our team. I think if we get in this centre back, we properly have depth in striker, in midfield, in defence now, and we can cope with the rigors of this season, and we can actually make a fist out of top 4 in the league. So get that centre back here, and 1000% we're finishing above you, 100%.
Okay, so with the centre back, but currently you don't have the centre back. So
currently,
do you believe? Currently, do you think you finish above Manchester United right now?
As it stands right now, based on your squad as is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both squads, I didn't combine it.
Yeah, 100%.
No. Do you think it though? Do you think it will though?
What?
If you're gonna put money on it, would you? Yeah. Would you put money on it? I'm asking.
Yeah, I would. I'd put money on us to finish above you. Yeah, I would. Wow, I don't think you've done enough in the window. I think you will do something in the next couple of days, but I don't think you've done enough for us to be scared of you.
Interesting.
All right, okay.
Jack, what about you? Who's going to finish higher? Tottenham?
Again, it depends on the outcome of what happens. I think, again, like Toby said, centre back, our defences let us down time and time again last season. Those, particularly the centre backs, and I think getting in Skriniar and stopping, just making sure the players, even though he's had a good few games, Eric, I'll give him that. I will give him that. But we can't. That ain't gonna last. That will not last the season. That is not. And
I don't know why you don't like him so much, bro. He looks alright when I watch him.
He's played well this season, to be fair. Barring a couple matches, he has played well. Not gonna
the problem with Dyer is he will have a good game for 89 minutes, and then there will 1 minute where he'll have a calamity. But in the past few games, he's eliminated that. So
how did you not play with a back four with Dyer and Aurier inside that one defense? How did it work last season? Were you not stressed or something?
Yeah,
you saw. The league table don't lie.
they were. The two of them in the same team, but bloody hell.
Well, they were there plenty.
Kojo, what about you? Who do you think's going to finish higher out of the two of them? Considering we just got Cavani and Koskov.
I am gonna say United. That's you can obviously hear from my voice that I'm not completely utterly convinced by that.
Even the Europa League as well. I feel like Tottenham's gonna go far in
the Europa League and Champions League, of course, yeah. Spurs' schedule is crazy in terms of how many games they play in a certain amount of time, month by month. But that's why they've signed a lot of players so they can actually have depth, so they can rest guys. That's the thing. So if Kane doesn't need to play a Europa League game, Carlos Vinicius starts that game because Harry Kane can't play in the Premier League. That's the point. So they can rest these guys. That's why it wouldn't surprise me to see them finish above us. But I am a United supporter, and I genuinely actually do believe we will finish above them. But again, we do need to sign Alex Telles. I love that Cavani's coming, but Telles needs to come in. And if they think they need a centre back, my goodness gracious me, do we? We need a centre back and we need the Holy Spirit.
Hey, Son running at Maguire and Lindelof, imagine.
Yeah,
he's not going to start by tomorrow. He's not.
You need a right winger as well. You need wingers. Yeah. You ain't got a backup left winger for Rashford, and you ain't even got any right wingers altogether. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, from last season to this season, what is the biggest improvement I've seen in Man United? It's marginal. Your midfield was already the strongest part of your team, and yes, you've consolidated with Van der Beek. You needed that signing for depth.
Yes, we improved with that.
But you have improved. But your defense is still there to be got at. You still need a left back, still need a centre back, still need a right winger. You ain't made enough strides in the window for me to actually think that you're definitely going to finish above us this season. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. The reason why I disagree with that is because we finished 4 places above you, and I think even with the players you have signed, you haven't closed that gap yet. I just look at it like that. Bale is a bigger. We don't know what Bale you lot are going to get. We don't know. Is he not injured now? Till November. Is he not injured now till November? So I see Bale as a bigger risk as a Cavani. So either one of them hitting could make the difference in either or. But I just don't see. I don't see Spurs making a try.
He's
back, back after international break. Okay,
he's back after international break. He's back after international break, and I don't think. I know you finished above us last year, but I don't think the gap was insurmountable between us and United last year. I really don't. I'm trying to check the table where how many points you finished on last year compared to us. So we had, wow, okay, let me not let me shut up. We had 59 points. They had 66. Yeah, cool. That's fine. We weren't a good side, but as I said, a lot of our issues last year we've addressed them. There's only one more left. That is the only reason why I'm optimistic, even in spite of a manager who I don't like.
Even with the manager, that's what I was going to say, because we know you have a manager who likes to self-destruct. Yes, he hits the and I don't rate Ollie. Don't get it mistaken. I'm not an Ollie fan. But one thing Ollie won't do is press the self-destruct button. Yeah, we know Mourinho will do. As soon as it starts going wrong, he'll press the self-destruct button.
It happened twice. I
think he likes the squad. 2, we've been able to improve the squad massively, and 3, the squad is getting better. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, even if in the absolute the squad is getting better. That's what
you got to remember. Also, the Jose that self-destructs is on the back of the board, not backing him. At Chelsea,
no.
When he wasn't backed in 2015, the summer of 2015, and then he completely just lost the plot. Man United, that was inevitable. It was inevitable that was going to happen. That's the Jose that self-destruction.
Just remember, I hope we do the show. You get me? Once Mourinho sacks, whether it's at the end of the season or during the season, and see he presses the self-destruct. Mourinho's done at the top level, innit? And I'm a big fan of Mourinho. Mourinho's done out here at the top level. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Ollie whatsoever, but Mourinho's not done. I mean, Mourinho's done at the top level. There's a reason, no disrespect, he's at Spurs. You know what I mean? There's no way he should be there with what he had done previously. He can't go to no big club now. No big club is touching Mourinho now. There's a reason he's there.
I agree, but like Jack said, he's been backed. He lacks the squad. Yeah, he's made the squad better. You have stagnated. You've only made one good addition this window. There's 3 days after the window to go. You still have glaring holes in your team that you haven't addressed yet. I personally think that he will. I back us to finish above you as it stands now. If you don't make any additions, I 1,000 will back us to finish above you.
Well, let's see what happens for Monday, innit? It was very interesting. But yeah, that's gonna be the end of our show. Obviously. Thank you guys for coming on. It's been a very, very good show. Thank you, Flawless, Kojo, the both Tobys, and obviously Jack as well for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Sure, when we play you guys at what's your stadium called? White Hart Lane, New White Hart.
Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah, when we play you lot at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, we'll probably have the same lineup, same crew. The guys, thanks for coming. Also follow them on their socials as well. They're doing big things on the Tottenham team. Obviously follow Flawless as well. Man like Sarcasm City and that. And obviously Kojo's got like
appreciate it. Sarcasm City podcast.
So, yeah, Kojo's on like 100 podcasts with us, so just check him out. Yeah, guys, enjoy your Saturday. Peace.